Good morning, afternoon, evening, as the case may be, in your part of the world. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Zen Archer. I am currently sitting out on my patio. It is 75 degrees out, and it's been raining all night, but it has dried up already. This is an update to my Zen Life, which is a series that I started a few nights ago. Didn't know what I was going to call it. I decided to call it my Zen Life. It's about my rise to power and fame and fortune, or my terrible fail and fall to the rock bottom of everything. But in all seriousness, it's just pretty much what my vlogs have always been about my life, and some changes that have recently occurred. And I'm inviting you to come along on the journey, see where it takes us. So I'm going to update you about some changes that have happened within the last day or two that I thought you might be interested in. I'm out here starting my morning. I've got my obligatory cup of coffee, which I love, of course, my cigarettes, and yes, I have waffles on a paper plate with some strawberry jam. So, starting my day out that way, and I just realized there's a hole right there. There's a hole in my smoke, so I'm going to have to cover that up with a finger as I'm smoking it. Probably have trouble keeping it lit. Alright, so let's get to this. Let me start it out with this. I'm going to combine two vlogs together. First, I want to ask you guys a question, and I'd like you to give me a video response if you can. If you can't, I understand. If you can only type, I understand. However, if you do have a video camera, a webcam like this one, all you have to do when you go to respond is make it a video response, and you can do a quick capture right at YouTube, and you don't have to record anything. When you're done doing your quick capture, you hit it and it saves it and it posts it to the video. So I'd like to see that. It just seems more you and I chatting when there's video responses as opposed to text chat. You know, it's a little more personal. You understand what I'm saying? I've got the microphone on because I thought it would cut down on some of the street noise. So here we go. Question of the day. Today's question is, who are your heroes? Now, when I say heroes, it can be whatever you define a hero to be. In my life, I've had a lot of heroes. I've had heroes that from here on YouTube. I've seen people do some amazing stuff. I've also had heroes in my life, and I'm dealing with one of those heroes right now. My mother, who is currently in the hospital, and I'm going to tell you about that in a little bit. But you know, my mother has always been one of my heroes. She was a woman that you couldn't stop her from doing anything. Whatever it was, if she got it in her head, she did it. And she didn't worry about the what-ifs. She didn't worry about, well, what if it doesn't work out? And what if I don't have the money? Or what if I, don't have the ability? It was always, well, if I don't have the ability, then I'll find that out, and then I'll get the ability, and then I'll do it. If I don't have the money, I'll find a way to finance it, and I'll get the money, and I'll do it. So Mom has always been that kind of a person in her life. When she came home from the hospital after her stroke, one night in the middle of the night, she decided she didn't like where the furniture was. Now, when she came home, right hand side of her body was paralyzed. She was in a wheelchair, and she was sleeping on a hospital bed on the first floor of our house. But in the middle of the night, she decided she didn't like where the furniture was. Not really something that's very important, right? You would think that she would say to her son, who's there taking care of her, hey, I don't like the furniture the way it is. It's kind of difficult for me to maneuver around. How about helping me move it? But no, that's not the case. I got up in the morning and came downstairs, and it was early morning, still dark, walked into the living room to turn on some lights, and walked square into a couch that hadn't been there the day before. What she did was she took her cane, her little walking stick that she had, wheeled over with her wheelchair, and she put it underneath the couch and pressed up, and underneath the couch and pressed up, and used that cane as a lever in order to move all of the furniture in the living room. Everything that you sit on, all the chairs, all the couches, including the hospital bed that she was sleeping in, she moved to a different location, all by herself in the middle of the night. Lord knows how much time it took her. I don't know, but I was completely amazed. She was always someone who wouldn't let anything stop her. Period. Now, I've seen other heroes too. I've seen heroes that just bring things to attention. I watched a video recently of someone talking about the homeless and the homeless situation and how much we spend on war and how little we spend on taking care of those people who really need it. Yes, we have government programs and we begrudgingly pay our taxes and we begrudgingly let those people who need it take advantage of those systems. In fact, a lot of the time we believe that those people really don't need it. They're just taking advantage of the system and taking our money. And I'll tell you, I've talked to a lot of those people, and in most cases that's not true. There is the few who do take advantage of the system who shouldn't, who really maybe they're not trying to scam anybody. Maybe they just don't know any other way to survive. Maybe what they could use is a little counseling instead of the ill feelings that we have towards them. Somebody just take them by the hand and say, "Okay, you don't know how to do this. Let me show you." But I've seen people that have championed those causes for the homeless. You know, you've heard stories about a kid who hears that people in another country don't have clean drinking water. And the fact of the matter is, most of the world, the people in the world don't have clean drinking water. It makes them ill. And so this kid took up a cause, you know, and he started, you know, sending everything that he could get and collecting money and doing all kinds of things in order to build one well. And then as word got out, then more were done. And he's a full-grown man today, and he now travels the country helping people learn how to dig wells and how to have decent water to drink. You know, so the heroes come in all different fashions. But I'm wondering this morning, who is your hero? You know, for me it was my mother. She could always do anything. There was nothing in this world that could stop her. And also she was always my biggest fan. She always cheered me on, even when others, you know, said there's no way. Mom was always in my corner. And on those times when I was either emotionally down, financially down, whatever the case was, Mom was always there as my safety net. She was always there to help out any way she could. Sometimes more so than she needed to be. Sometimes the help that I received from her was not a good thing, because it took me much longer to learn to stand on my own feet. But she was always there. You know, that's who Mom was, and that's what you do for family. So my question to you, and your mission, should you decide to accept it, is to do a small video, just a couple of minutes if you want, and tell me who is your hero and why. And once I get a few responses, maybe we'll put them all together in a collage, and we'll put that up here on the channel, or maybe we'll create another channel for that kind of thing. How about the hero channel? Wouldn't that be cool? A channel that is about people's heroes. I think so. So, that's what I want to present you with this morning in a positive note, and I also want to give you an update on Mom. Easter night, Monday morning, I got a call at about 5:30 a.m. Mom was complaining of back pain, and some significant back pain, to the point where she was yelling out. And the nursing home did some x-rays, they did a urology test, they did some blood tests. They didn't really find anything, but it was obvious that she was in pain, so they sent her to the emergency room, and they called me at 5:30 in the morning. So I got up, I went into the hospital so she wouldn't be alone, there'd be a familiar face there, and so I could kind of back her up, you know, and make sure that all the I's were dotted and all the T's were crossed. So I went, and she was by that time complaining that the pain was on her right side underneath her breast, and within a few hours she was complaining that she was having pain in her hip. Didn't make a lot of sense. Eventually, through the course of taking a lot of tests and things like that, they thought it was perhaps her heart, and so they started treating that. Then they thought, well, maybe it was her gallbladder, and they were pretty resigned to that it was her gallbladder. And then they took some more tests and they did some ultrasounds and stuff, and what they found is that Mom has a blood clot in her right lung. They believe it traveled up from her legs, and that's the right hand side, the side that is paralyzed. They believe it traveled up from her legs and got into her lung. Luckily, she hasn't had any problems breathing, but she is having some significant pain because of this blood clot. And so, we're like, okay, well, what do we do about it now? You know, because she's in severe pain. She's getting sharp shooting pains that are making her jump and wail. And when I say wail, I mean yell out loud a lot. And what do we do about it? Well, talk to the doctor. He talked to both my brother and I last night. They're going to keep her in the hospital for a few more days, and they're going to make her comfortable by giving her medication to deal with the pain. But they can't give her a clot buster, they call it, because the side effect of that is that it can cause hemorrhaging. And Mom's original stroke was caused by hemorrhaging in the back of her brain. Her brain leaked, if you will, and that's what caused her stroke. So they don't want to do that at her fragile age of 92. They could give her some blood thinners to make blood flow a little bit easier, but that's not going to dissolve the blood clot. That's going to have to be taken care of on its own. It's just going to have to go away on its own. The body's going to have to take care of it. And she's already taking things that thin her blood, and so that's really not a good thing. Also, if they give her more blood thinners than she's already taking, there's a possibility that she could end up with more blood clots just by a small bump of her hand on something could cause a blood clot then. So that's not an option. So the last option is to make her comfortable, let nature take its course and deal with that blood clot, and put in a filter. That's the way the doctor explained it to me. It's like an inverted umbrella that would go into the vein in her leg, and because it's inverted, when it opens up, it would go against the edges of it, would be against the blood flow, so it would kind of sit in place, and it would make sure that more blood clots didn't travel from her leg to her lung and cause even more problems and more pain. So she's going to see her regular hematologist today, who's going to give us a second opinion and look at the charts and everything and tests, and then we're going to go with, you know, whatever we need to go with. So that's an update with Mom. With me, it's pretty much the same. I've got an apartment selected, and we're getting some contracts, just basic little contracts made up in order to protect both my roommate and myself. And we're going to be doing that today. He's getting them written up, and then I'll go sign them and get that underway. Of course, I'm packing up what I can here at the house. I'm selling stuff, and I'm, you know, getting rid of garbage and all that stuff, and trying to do the best that I can in order to, as smoothly as possible, make this transition from where I was to where I'll be. And you can help me with that. Every little bit helps, and certainly if you're interested in what we're doing here, subscribe to the channel, friend me, you know, rate it, so on and so forth. I thought it was interesting. I was noticing in my own subscriptions, I'm subscribed to a lot of people that I'm not friended to, and that doesn't make any sense to me. And I also noticed that, and I'm making changes to that. When I find that, I'm friending those people. But I also found that I'm friended to some people that I don't subscribe to, and I can't even tell you why that is. But I'm also making those adjustments, and I will probably be subscribed. We'll just see how that goes. But if you want to follow along with this or some of the other things that I do here on the Zen Archer channel, be it meditation, relaxation, videos about making flutes. I make the PVC flute just like this one. I'll even try to play it for you. I don't know if I can this morning. We'll give it a shot. That sounded like crap, didn't it? Yeah, mic's in the way, kind of hard to roll. But anyway, this is a PVC flute made by Mwah. I make them and sell them, and I do videos about it, tell you how to do it yourself, or you can, of course, Always purchase one of those on eBay from Mwah, and make my life a little richer and make your music life a little richer in the process. Anyway, thank you very much for logging in, for coming over and watching, and I hope that this experience is helpful to you as you watch the things that come up, and sometimes unexpected things. I can give you, for instance, real quick, I got 15 minutes on this video already, but after Mom's insurance paid for her hospital visit, not the last time, but the time before that, after her insurance paid for everything that they pay for, they sent her a bill for $935 and $200 for the ambulance. There is no way in the world that she can pay that. So, of course, my brother and I are helping to fill out the paperwork and stuff that basically says that. Hospitals and doctors are required to give a certain amount of health care pro bono. So, I hope that's the right word, for free. And it's a program that's set up that moms may have to take advantage of, because she frankly just doesn't have that kind of money. I don't have that kind of money, and I know that my brother doesn't have that kind of money. So we're going to do what we can do. Until next time, as always, this is Zen, saying you be well. I'm going to get that phone.